She's gonna be here any minute.
Good morning.
Good morning. We're live.
Oh, we are? Okay.
Yes, waiting for you. I just didn't want our people to think that we're not coming. We'll start in just a minute. We still have no viewers, which is great. Good morning.
Good morning.
So we had Amazon. You want to put the TikTok too?
Oh, should I set up?
I have that one.
Sure, we can do that right now. I can do that right now. Good morning, everyone. Happy Pride.
Yes.
This tripod works. I'm
So
not
what
used
is
to
the
this
topic
tripod.
today?
For today, we have how face yoga can transform your face.
Yoga. It's all about yoga and breathing when we're doing mindful exercises.
I don't know how this tripod works. I'm having difficulties with this tripod. Do you know how this works, Dr. Maryam?
Oh, let me see.
I have my own tripod if this is,
What's falling?
yeah, it's like not. Here, I'll just bring mine.
Let me just see something here. Is it in the car?
No, it's right here.
Oh, standing.
Okay. Sure. That works. Kind of. This is a funky tripod.
There we go.
It's crooked though. Alrighty.
We have now one viewer. Hi. We're about to start. Here we go. We're trying to do TikTok live at the same time.
One second.
Those of you that are sitting there, I'm Dr. Maryam, the inventor of BLAfit. Here she is.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Happy Pride Month. This is a wonderful month for a lot of people. It's a great month to celebrate all individuals, and also happy Monday.
As you can see, the new generation is not on time.
Yeah, it was not a good morning for me. But anyway, I hope everyone's having a great day. Today we're going to talk about how face yoga can actually transform your face. I know lip injections and surgeries and Botox and invasive procedures are very common nowadays, especially in LA or big cities like Miami as well. So we're here to talk about how you can choose a different alternative and how you can rely on more safer alternatives, non-invasive, less expensive, and definitely healthier for your overall body and face. So that is
Sounds all good.
that is what we're here to talk about. And of course we have our expert, Dr. Maryam, who is the inventor of BLAfit, the face yoga device that creates tension as you exercise your facial muscles. So I just kind of want you to give us a brief background of why you created BLAfit. Why did you see that there was a need to actually do face yoga as opposed to just doing what a lot of people do, the invasive procedures?
Right. Good morning. Thank you, Natalie. Good morning, everybody, and our TikTok viewers and our Amazon viewers. I'm Dr. Maryam, a board-certified dentist with practice of over 30 years in the fields of TMJ, which is temporomandibular joint disorders, people that have jaw clicking, people that have headaches, jaw pain, neck pain, dizziness, and in the field of sleep apnea, which people that stop breathing through the night and their physical airways tight, and in the big field of orthodontics, which is not just braces, it includes braces, orthopedic correction of the deficiency of the jaws. For example, in our practice, if somebody has a huge overbite, maybe the standard practice is to take teeth out and put the jaw together. Our treatment philosophy is non-invasive, aligning the jaw in the correct way. So what we will do is we make orthopedic retainers for the individual to move the jaw in the correct position. Therefore, they have a better chin position and better alignment, as well as better blood vessel circulation to their brain. So we've always looked at things holistically and align the facial structure, creating beautiful smiles, but align and balance facial structures. I know a lot of us are relying on injections if we don't have a protruded chin, or if we don't have a prominent chin, or to chin placement. But if we get there early in our practice, we can fix all of those with orthopedic retainers. Now, when I was doing all of this for 30 years, it was about maybe a decade and a half ago, 15, 16 years ago, where injections became very prevalent. Like 16-year-olds that came to my office and I did their orthodontic work, they had beautiful smile and they were asking me, what do you think about lip injections? And I was like, oh my God, this is reaching earlier community. And and I looked, because I am also an artist, I look at faces, not just for my work, but in general, I look at faces a different way. And I looked and I saw the lips were a little bit sagging, even on a 16-year-old. So throughout the last 30 years, I've learned our diet plays a big role in our facial development. And I had to start questioning myself. Even though in my own household, I always did organic, juiced. We always had cut up vegetables for the kids when they came out of school so they can do the chewing with carrots, celery, broccoli, cauliflower. We always had the cut up vegetables at home ready. But why are the new generation children are losing their facial tone? And the more I delved in, the more I learned that we're not using our facial structure the way it's intended. So old days, another 100 years back, or 200 years back, or 300 years back, we really did chewing. Our teeth are like carnivores. We have to use them to chew. And if we stop using them, because now in our new world, the last 50 years, we became very westernized, where we have fast foods and we overcook our food, and we don't chew too many raw products. We're not using our teeth, and evolutionary process slowly eliminates things that we don't use. So maybe another 100 years, if we don't change that, we're going to have no facial tone. Our face is going to be less toned, and our lower jaw is going to be pushed back due to the posture of phones in our hands. So we're going to change, looking back to our ancestors, if we don't make a change. So I knew this is a time, I had younger children at that time, that I got to get in before my daughter come and ask me for lip injections. What can we do today to be able to work out those muscles that we're not using? If you're rushing from class to class, from chore to chore, from work to work, and we're stressed and we're getting a milkshake and we're not chewing, we're not using our teeth, which we should be, then what can we do at least to get that muscular area of our face, which is 50 plus muscles that are like overlying like little freeways in our face. to be able to plump them without causing TMJ. So when I fall into that that mindset, I realize, okay, so we're exercising our body. What can I create to exercise our face? But again, it's a very, very important region, because if we make things in our mouth and we start exercising with anything that goes in our mouth, we can actually impinge temporomandibular joint area and cause TMJ. So how can we do it without creating patients to have TMJ? There's a lot of products out there that prophesize that they exercise facial structure, and they're right. It exercises your facial structure. But how do you exercise is very important for the health of your TM joint. So we had to think out of the box and say, how can we anchor around the mouth without causing TMJ? Now, for those of our audience this is their first time, I'm Dr. Maryam. I'm a TMJ specialist. I'm going to give you guys a little quick TMJ look at this photo. Look what passes behind the lower jaw. This is only one dimension. We're looking at the artery. We're looking at the artery, carotid artery. There is jugular vein. We've got the fifth cranial nerve passing that little region behind the lower jaw. So things that goes in our mouth, if we're pushing the jaw back, we're actually causing TMJ. So we don't ever want to put anything in our mouth that shift the jaw back, because now we're working out the facial muscles, but we're causing TMJ, headaches, and making our clenching muscle, which is in the corner of our jaw, bigger. That's not what was my intention. So I knew I have to be very careful about that. And as a TMJ specialist, how can we make these exercises to be safe? And how can I make something that doesn't do that? So we had to get a hold of everything that was in the market. So I tried everything that was in the market, and I realized what was their faults. And I'm not gonna name any product here because I'm on Amazon, and Amazon probably, again, shuts me down if I did. But I wanna say that with the BLAfit appliance, I put in my mind that most exercises that we gotta do has to shift the jaw forward. We always have to think, when we're doing these yoga exercises, the lower jaw should be shifting forward. If we can keep that in mind in our movements, then we're actually treating TMJ. We're actually helping patients that have headaches. And what if this is going to be a new alternative for TMJ treatment? We have all these questions. Unfortunately, we don't have the manpower to do a clinical study on patients with TMJ and BLAfit appliance, because it's, for those of you that have not done clinical studies, it's very expensive, and we've was this close to start one with a neurologist, but it fell into the cracks, so we don't have it. But as a dentist that treats TMJ, we're using our BLAfit appliance for our patients with TMJ. But it's very important that it is done correctly. So what we did is, when we created BLAfit appliance, we made sure that Zoom training, free or complimentary Zoom training, is included in your package. So we had to hire more manpower in here to be able to make sure that our audience in the other side, or people that are buying it, that they learn how to use it correctly with the right people training them. So now you're not just buying a product that you could just do something and end up with headaches or put it in the corner of your room. We created a product that is really, not only it works, but it's really backed up by our office here, by every personnel office here, by me, by my husband, who is a medical doctor, and we will train you of how to use it correctly to make sure not only you're doing your yoga facial exercises to plump your facial structure and tighten, but you're also treating the TMJ. So that's where all of that invention came in. And that's why it's very important, before you put anything in your mouth, you really question.
Right.
Who has made it? Where is the philosophy comes from? Are we only looking at plumping? So for those of us that only want plumping and making our jaw more square. There's tons of products that are out there that are probably less expensive and they don't have the support. You could go ahead and just basically go there. But if you're the type that watches what goes in their mouth and is careful about all the, when they go to the gym, they do their workout really correctly because they were trained how to do it correctly so they don't hurt their neck, they don't hurt their back, then stick around because this is an appliance that will work out your facial muscles. It will plump up your lip. It will lift your cheekbones. You will have more prominent cheekbones so you don't have to do all that artistic work to make it look like you do. And it will tighten your jowls and give you a nice jawline. Not a square out of the place like your clencher jawline. It will give you a balanced jawline, and at the same time it will make you relax, put your whole body in a system, a parasympathetic nervous system, which is healing, and at the same time will teach you how to add the breath work to be able to make relaxation as part of this workout. So we're doing, it's kind of like yoga, mindful yoga for your face.
Right.
With resistance.
Right. And I really want to emphasize that part of that with resistance because I think a lot of people that don't actually have the physical product in their hand look at the BLAfit appliance and think, that's just a piece of plastic. That's not going to do anything for me. But I think you really have to physically see it in you and actually feel the movement and actually feel the BLA when you're using it because you feel the resistance when you do it. It's not an easy movement, especially if you're a beginner. A lot of people oftentimes say, this is really hard for me. This is really difficult. I didn't realize how weak my facial muscles are because they struggle so much just to do the movement correctly and bring the hands together. So I think that says a lot for itself that it's not just a little piece of plastic that you can just create resistance. People have said that you can create the same resistance with your fingers.
Can't.
That would be amazing if you could, but unfortunately you cannot. So,
but also when you put your fingers in your mouth, and we know face yoga works
right
without any resistance. So we're not doubting that you can do face yoga. I know that if you don't go to the gym and you just stay home and do your own workout, it works.
Right.
But you have to be learning a little bit more about the facial muscles, about the jaw, and you have to know that if you did have a weight along the way, you will have a better plumping action. So it has a resistant band in it, especially for the beginners. For the first year, you want to use this appliance, and it's durable. It would last you 2-3 years, but you want to use this appliance at least for 1 whole year. And we're now going to surprise everybody with our second generation BLA coming up soon. Not anytime soon, but I know in 2024 for sure. We will have the second generation BLA for people that have already built their muscles and they are like ready to go to the next step, because it's a very tricky place. Jaw joint, our lower jaw sitting right in front of our road to the brain. We cannot underestimate that. And just do things with our mouth. Like people that do face yoga, there's tons of them out there that are very popular, but I'm not sure if they understand what passes behind the lower jaw, or understand the anatomy of facial or the complexity of facial structure. We have to be very careful because a lot of us have daily headaches, we have migraines, we have TMJ. It's more than 1 person in 10. I think about 90+% of us have TMJ, whether we know it or not. And the only way we can really diagnose it is to take a CBCT x-ray to look at the jaw joint position and tell you, yes, you do have a TMJ or not. But talking about a piece of plastic, just for the people that are in our audience, and I know you're wonderful sticking with us, is that in my practice here in Manhattan Beach, when patients come here for treatment of TMJ, we do give them a piece of plastic for their jaw to be able to, it's an orthopedic retainer that moves their jaw forward, and they have to wear it 24 hours. But they have to pay over $3,000 for that piece of plastic. We also have another piece of plastic for those of us that values things based on the material. We also have a piece of plastic here that we have it made in Canada for patients that have sleep apnea that they have to pay over $7,000 to get that piece of plastic. Piece of plastic could be a life-changing piece of plastic. A piece of plastic can be durable. It could be life. These are things that plastics that use in hip replacement. So plastic can be used in different ways, but what I could assure you is this appliance, BLAfit appliance, this one specifically, I've been using it for now about 3 years, has not fractured, has not lost its resistance, and it is, we use medical grade nylon or plastic, you can call it one kind of plastic, that is, and we also use colors that are FDA approved. So everything about creation of the BLAfit appliance is high quality, plus forget about all of that. You have us behind the door teaching you how to do it, learning how to do it, because if you don't do it correctly, you're not going to feel what we feel.
Exactly.
We want you to learn how to correctly use it. We want you to become ambassadors of our company so that you can tell your friends, because this not only works out your facial structure, but also mindfully puts your whole system into a relaxation mode and meditation.
Exactly. And we teach that all in the complimentary training that you get when you get the BLAfit. So we meet one-on-one. It's very fun to meet all of our people that are in our community. And we teach you how to correctly use the device based on your needs. Some people specifically only want to target the aesthetic purposes, and they're like, I really only want to just define my jawline. Like, that's my main goal. So then that is where our main focus is in the training. But then there's other people that want the training geared more towards, like, I have jaw pain, I'm a clencher, I have headaches. So then that's where we kind of tweak the training and focus more on the health aspect of it. So everything is catered to your specific needs, and we make sure that you get it down by the end of the call so that you feel comfortable doing this on your own for years to come.
So when we wrote in the cards that are inside each box that comes, it says 5 minute complimentary calls, but I see sometimes Natalie stick around in our conference room for over 30 minutes trying to make sure, because some of our some people that are buying it, they're not very coordinated in their facial muscles, so it takes longer. Another thing that I wanted to talk, Natalie, is nutrition. What can we do in our home nutritionally to be able to start working these muscles more and use our teeth the correct way? We have to use it. If we don't use our teeth the right way, then we're also deteriorating our facial structure. So chewing raw nuts, for those of you that don't have nut allergies, very important, and not overcooking your food. I'm not talking about chicken, but I'm talking in general vegetables that we eat. If we can have more of raw food, it would be really helpful to be able to do more chewing, and be mindful when we chew. Don't just chew 2 times and swallow. Really take your time and taste the food. Let the enzymes, lysosomes, all the digestive tract to start becoming in tune. Keep the food enough in your mouth to be able to get the digestion better. And then now we're using actually these facial muscles. For those of you that have locked jaw or they have jaw joint issues, you do need to see your TMJ specialist. It is going to be costly. But if you're in a remote area that you don't have any accessibility to any dentist like us that treats TMJ, and you do have Amazon, if you order one of these, we will train you how to at least improve your symptoms. We're not guaranteeing that's going to take care of TMJ, but it could improve your TMJ symptoms. It could improve your headaches. It can improve your facial muscle tension in your facial muscles, especially 1 minute before sleep, 1 minute in the morning when you wake up. If you're a clencher, you wake up and you don't have any type of orthodontic in your mouth at night, let us get you in and teach you how to relax your muscles so you could start a beautiful day.
Exactly. So yes, again, it's not a treatment that we're saying it will 100% cure or treat TMJ or any of that, but we have gotten lots and tons of positive feedback from a lot of individuals that have used the BLA and have reported back to us, letting us know that They feel a lot more, their muscles feel a lot more relaxed. They have noticed less headaches. So this is all just lots of feedback that we have received from users that are have a bellow appliance, and that's why we want everyone to be able to experience this, because even if you don't have headaches, like for example, I don't suffer from headaches. I'm very fortunate, but at the same time, it's still important to tap into your parasympathetic nervous system, as Dr. Maryam was speaking earlier about, because it sets you up for a good night's rest. For example, if you do the bellow appliance, like just focus on doing the vertical exercise at least for like 1 minute right before bed. You feel so much more relaxed. Your body feels like it's in a safe space to finally wind down and just actually enjoy your sleep. And so that's why I really recommend the bellow appliance. Even in the mornings, if you're a clencher, for example, and you clench all night and you have really tight muscles, this is a really great way in the morning to just relax that and relieve that tension that you have built up in the jaw.
And we're in a society that, especially our young individuals, are all into makeup, facial products, and we're one of the biggest spenders on makeup and facial product. If you do your exercises, so this should be a routine for everybody. Our young kids should learn that one of the routines for their facial structure for face, other than keeping it clean, washing it, keeping it moist, is to work it out.
Mm-hmm.
Because how did we not think about our face earlier, and we're all hit the gym and we're working out from our arms down, all of our muscles, but everybody wants an easy route for our facial muscles. But imagine if we could get that 12-year-old, 13-year-old that is just doing workout, learning to take care of their body, to do these exercises. This is how we prevent aging. This is how we prevent the muscle sagging. We allow our own collagen to form. All this collagen that they're advertising to drink, great. But if you start your own collagen formation by the exercises and muscle building, it's probably the best way to do it, because now you know your body's producing it without just things that we just intake and hope that is going to go in our face. We hope that it's not going through our digestive tract down. So I want everybody to be mindful that our face is no different than the rest of our body.
Mm-hmm.
And if we are washing our face and putting lotion in our face, we need to get that pumping action correctly to be able to help us with our facial sagging issues. But at the same time, talking about TMJ, as somebody that's a diplomat of TMJ and has done TMJ for 30 years, I know this works, but we don't have a clinical study to be able to brag about it yet. But if I teach you how to use this, I know I can help you alleviate some of your TMJ symptoms, but we can't use it as TMJ treatment.
Right.
Unfortunately, TMJ treatment still costs thousands of dollars, and this is too simple. And even if it one day proves to be a TMJ product and we get the clinical study, I'm not sure if we're going to be able to sell this under TMJ treatment, because all the TMJ organization around the world are going to complain that this is too inexpensive, just like the pharmaceutical companies, just like everything else. So it will be one of those alternative treatments that you have to go to an alternative TMJ doctor to give you that, because it's inexpensive.
Mm-hmm. That's such a sad way. Yeah. Unfortunately, that
it is what it is.
That is the type of society we live in. So Nikki, hi Nikki. Nikki was saying that they use a facial exercise device right now, not the BLA in particular, but they have an overbite, so they move their jaw forward when they do the exercise, and they're like, okay, I guess I'm on the right track. And they said that we were comparing the BLA to the expensive plastics that you were talking about. They think that they were saying, oh, it seems like it must be a really good product. Yes, it is actually, Nikki.
Well, Nikki, this is a product that my name is behind it, and I'm the type that I don't put anything in my mouth. I don't wear too much makeup, but my lipsticks and my little bit of blush is all clean product that are not unleaded. We don't want lead in our body. We don't want junk in our body. But everything that's made for our facial stuff that are sold in beautiful stores out there, 90+%. I can bring it all. I'm a biochemist and a chemist before. I can show you that they all have things that if I told you, you would not use. And if you look at the writing on every product you buy, there's so much writing of names of things you can't even read. And they're written so small in fonts that you can't even read. Do you think my 22-year-old daughter, when she buys a lip gloss from any store, will read what is inside? The lip gloss itself is this big. How could you read the fonts on it? Right. So we're putting things in our mouth, in our body, without knowing what they are. And there's no standard in this our world to be able to check every product that's out there and it's sold out there. But I will tell you, as somebody that watches what goes in my body, I made sure I make a product that is safe, effective, durable. I don't want to give something to my customers or my patients that they come after 1 week and it's broken. So we went and worked with so many different classes of nylons to be able to have one that does at least 400,000 cycles. That's like 3 years of me using it. Before it even had hairline cracks on it, we had a third company, somebody independent of BLA, to do the testing so that we have that in case customers ask us, is it durable? They prove that it's durable and safe. So we just want to make sure that we train you as somebody that does TMJ and sleep apnea and orthodontics, how to do it correctly, so that not only you make the maximum benefits, but also not hurt any joint. So if any of us out there from Amazon or anywhere buying the BLAfit appliance and not taking advantage of our 5-minute Zoom training, we're making a big mistake, because you can benefit so much more if you took that advantage of that.
Mm-hmm. And yes, the product itself actually does come with a little pamphlet that has the instructions on how to do it. But
and a QR code.
Yeah, and a QR code that directs you to a video that Dr. Maryam explains thoroughly how to do the exercises, which are very informative. But I think it's nothing like, if you go to the gym, you can do all your research on how to do a movement, but unless like an actual trainer looks at you doing the movement and really gives you that approval, saying like, yes, you're doing it right, I think that is what the Zoom training is really about. It gives you the confidence to know that, you are doing the movement correctly, and you know that your investment was actually worth it, because I think BLA is an investment, and I think it's a worthwhile investment, because it's not something that's just gonna last you a week. It should last you for at least 2 years.
Just think about 400,000 cycles.
Yeah.
400,000 cycles, that's a lot. We're talking about 5 cycles of each exercise a day. That would last you years and years and years. But you will, after a year to 2, you will want to have something a little bit stronger. Mm-hmm. Your jaw and muscles will be able to handle it. Right. And that's why we're now coming out with a 2nd generation BLAfit appliance. I actually want to do the vertical exercise. There's 2 exercises. I'm actually going to demo only the vertical exercise today. I mean, I can do both, but if you have time. Do we have time? I don't have my glasses on.
It is 10:07, so yeah, you have time to do the vertical exercise.
I'm going to do the vertical exercise because this is my signature exercise. This is my favorite exercise, because for me, when I'm behind my desk in the other room and we have 30 patients a day that we're seeing, and I need to be on a time, and I take a lot of time with each patient, and my patients know that. I get sometimes overwhelmed because I come and sit on my desk to do the charting, and then they're telling me there's 2 patients in 2 rooms and I need to go back and forth. Occasionally I feel like I'm not breathing, and I know the importance of nasal breathing. So we talk about it in our Instagram, we talk about it in our TikTok, it's in all of our platforms. I have videos of why nasal breathing is so important. We're not here for you to just do something. I want you to do it the perfect, correct, maximum, optimize your exercise. So when I do it on my desk, just two cycles, It takes me like maybe 15 seconds to do it. Just takes me in it. My voice changes. When I go to my next room, I'm just different than that run, that rush, that sympathetic drive. So I want you to know that this is something that you can have on your desk. If you have meetings, just before your meetings, to build your confidence, to build your zen place, so that when you go to that meeting, to that interview, to that photo shoot, you're in a nice place, yet also beautiful. You feel the tightness, you feel the beauty in your face immediately. And until you try it, it's hard to explain it. Again, all the anchor of these two arms is to the lip. We're doing only soft tissue movement. There's no teeth touching anything to the exercise. That's a difference between this and the exercise devices that are out there that really clenches, you clench on it with your teeth structure to be able to make your face even bigger. But a lot of our clients complain to us that, is the BLAfit appliance going to make my face more out? And I say no, because we're not using the clenching muscle. We're actually stretching the clenching muscle. We're using muscles that we're not using at all. So we're building muscles other than clenching muscle, and we're stretching those clenching muscles.
Okay, so let's go ahead.
You can, I wouldn't even move that because the tripod, but you can move that as well.
Okay.
And we have these videos if you go in any of our social media platform under BLAfit, you see the videos of multiple people doing it. And I know it looks funny. I've had celebrities that wanted to join our visionary product, vision, and be part of our, our company, but they didn't want to show the BLAfit appliance on the camera. For me, I feel like, why not? What is wrong with having an exercising device in our mouth? And for those of us that think dirty, it's your choice. But it is a device that exercises your facial muscles and your lips, because your lips are doing all the workout to engage everything. So your lips are the one that is doing the most plumping. Until you have this in your mouth and you try this, it's hard to understand how it feels internally, how the muscles engage. So for those of you that have it, grab yours and do it with me. For those of you that don't have it, try it. On Amazon, you can return if you didn't like it. We have very low return rate because we train patients, they use it, they know what it does. So it's we're not worried about that. So here we go.
I'm just gonna go ahead and describe what she's doing in this movement. So she's starting off by attaching the handles onto both the upper and lower lip. There is no teeth involvement with the BLA. She's grabbing onto the resistance band with her forefinger and her thumb to stabilize it and to avoid it from shifting around or popping out of her mouth. Taking a nice big deep breath in from her nose and slowly bringing both the upper and lower lip together. And the most important aspect is shifting that lower jaw forward. Nice big deep breath in from her nose and slowly allowing the BLA to bring her back to the original starting position, releasing her breath from her mouth. So again, using both the upper lip, lower lip, bringing those handles together, shifting the lower jaw forward simultaneously, holding that tension and focusing on the breath work, releasing the breath, and allowing the BLA to open her mouth back up to the original starting position. Notice how slowly and controlled she did that movement. There was no rush, just focusing on the moment. This is also, I think, a really great tool to ground you. I think it's really great for meditation. It's a very meditative experience. So how do you feel?
To work out, and I feel like I'm in a different ground, and I'm not joking, and our customers testify to that when we're doing it with them. I feel like I increase the oxygen to my brain. Mm-hmm. So you know how when you kind of feel like, oh, I'm in another level, I'm like, you have something that you're happy or high. I've never been high with any drugs, but it feels like you get that high with that oxygen that you're increasing. Because when I held that position, there's two things. The reason and this is evolved as time came. The more I did this, the more we work with a yoga instructor, with a medical doctor, the more we learn to tweak it a little bit more to be even maximize benefited. Because again, when I held it forward, I am holding this jaw forward. I'm holding this jaw forward. That holding allowed the whoosh, the rush of blood, nerve, our vein to just rush blood to our brain, where we usually are clenching, and by clenching we're cutting and we're impinging the circulation. That's why we're tight in our temporal muscles. That's why our occiput hurts, because we're always tight. When we're tight, our ligaments become shorter and they push things even further back. By mindfully holding it forward and taking a breath or two while holding that position, you're actually increasing that circulation for those of us that get migraine, for those of us that get headache, and we have jaw tension. That we were thinking, we had actually, so we had a clinical study that was approved by IRB with a neurologist on the effectiveness of the BLAfit appliance for migraine patients. The time that they had migraine coming, or they had signal of it coming, they should have done this 2-3 times to just reopen. Unfortunately, it fell into cracks, but maybe we can one day have more personnel here to help us to be able to. We get a lot of volunteer students here in our office during the summer to get that going. It takes a lot more financial and personnel to be able to get a clinical study going. But for those of us that use it, that we get headaches, in my practice, my patients, they all testify that this helps their jaw clicking and they are getting less headaches. So we know that works. We just don't have the clinical proof to show you. But I have my clinical experience and my own, what I see, observation of it, that it works. So we're holding that position, activating all the muscles, stretching this clenching muscle while we're increasing the circulation to our brain. Just think about that. It's like the best drug to get yourself relaxed before sleep.
Yes, and it's a great way to start off your day. You start off in a very happy state of mind. So I think it's a really great tool to use throughout all the times of the day. Like, you can use it in the morning, you can use it after your workout, you can use it during your workout, you can use it.
What I feel right now, it was like, it's about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes ago that I did the workout. I still feel my lips feels plumper. It feels like it's pumped up. You know how people, the models that they have the body lifters, before their photo shoot, they do a lot of fast pumping so that they can look bigger for the photo shoot. This actually does give you that, that chance of, if you're doing a photo shoot, to do a few of these vertical exercises, because then your lip does feel rolled and bigger. I just did 2. Imagine if I did 5, how much bigger and workout. And then I felt the lifting of my cheeks while I was holding it. The cheek was lifting, the lip was plumping, and the brain was happy. And the neck, I felt my neck muscle tighten. So be mindful of what you're feeling. Then you're actually keeping those muscles engaged better. Mm-hmm. That's why slow exercise, it's really helpful.
Yes.
Because I want, just for the sake of the time, if you have the time, I want to just do the horizontal exercise at least another 2 repetitions.
Yes, you have the opportunity to do
so. So the horizontal exercise is actually what a lot of the products out there do, which is the side exercise in the corner of your lips. With the BLAfit appliance, we learned that if we keep the mouth in a the more open position, the better the workout is. In an ah shape, and just focus on the corner of the lips to be able to do these exercises, these movements. You will feel 2 things. 1, the cheek lifting, 1, the lip lifting. So that people that have their lips downward, this will lift that side of your corner of your lips. So here we go.
I'm just going to bring the Amazon camera in a little bit closer. So for this exercise, she's attaching the handles onto the sides of her mouth. Always holding on again to the resistance band with your forefinger and your thumb to help stabilize it. Then slowly.
One thing about horizontal exercise, it does, because the corner of our lips are more tight, it doesn't usually need that much holding. The vertical exercise needs the holding so it doesn't tilt sideways for the beginners. But the horizontal exercise, you can pretty much do it hand-free.
Okay.
But we're going to just do it so that for those that really are weak, to be able to do it correctly. But you can actually do this hand-free.
Get away with it. So she's going to use the corners of her mouth to bring in the handles only about halfway. Notice how she's still maintaining a nice big wide O shape with her mouth. She is not closing her mouth entirely. And also incorporating nice breath work with the movement. Taking a big deep breath in from her nose. And slowly exhaling as she's bringing the handles apart. So this movement is really great to target the marionette lines, lift the smile, and lift the cheekbones.
So I know that this is Natalie's favorite exercise.
It is.
But it's for me, I'm neutral about it. But when I was doing the exercise and there's just two movements, did you notice that I was holding it in that opposition? And I heard you saying, let the arms come. You don't need to open your mouth. When you let go of holding, let that arm stretch you. And then breathe out all the carbon dioxide, all that from your stomach. Number one, we know that when you breathe out more than you breathe in, you're losing fat because we're using that carbons from our existing food or food sources that we have, or the fat cells, or the carbon comes from our belly, anywhere that we have fat cells. So breathing out, it's so important. Breathing in through our nose. Whatever I breathe in, I breathe out more. I give out more carbon dioxide than I take in oxygen. And carbon dioxide has a bigger molecular weight, and it's got a carbon chain to it, C. That C from carbon, where does that come from? We breathe it in oxygen, but we're getting rid of carbon and oxygen. So that means each carbon comes either from the food source you just had, or if you didn't eat and you're fasting, it comes from your fat cells. So breathing out is a weight loss regimen. Like for me, if I didn't work out today, I walk around the house and I'm doing cooking in the kitchen. This is what I do with the kitchen. And my husband laughs because he hears me breathing out so much, because then that's how I'm going to get my carbon out and less in, as a way of digestion, better digestion, getting my food source digested and get that carbon out of my body. The second thing it does, it makes your whole system less acidic, because CO2 that we breathe out has it's acidic. So when we breathe out, or we're emptying our stomach from all that acid CO2, and our body becomes a temple of alkaline temple, which doesn't allow microorganisms to grow, which doesn't allow things to become sick. So it just in general make us much more healthier when we do out. So when I let the arms open, I let the arms stretch me, but I'm mindful of breathing out all the CO2 in my body and putting my mind in a meditative state. So that's one thing I want all of you to learn. If you didn't want to buy the BLA, is to breathe in with your nose, breathe out more out than you breathe in. And now you're getting rid of the CO2s. C from the CO2 is coming from our fat, food that we just consumed, And that's the only way. Where is the C coming from? We just breathed in oxygen, but we're getting rid of CO2s. So that's a one trick for me to stay in my weight all my life is I breathe out a lot. When I do my walks, I don't care. I'm listening to my podcast, but I'm walking. Probably the people that are walking next to me hear my breath, and it's not important because it's all about me and my health.
Exactly.
So I'm breathing in. And sometimes when I had a big heavy food, I blow out like I'm blowing a balloon. So I go, because there's a very good TED Talk for those of you that watch TED Talk. I don't know the title. I should look it up. If you put breathing, how to lose fat, how do you get skinny or lose fat, something like that. The medical doctor proves that it's all about the CO2 we give out, and he shows that how runners, they are skinnier than other people that work out because they're always doing, they're continuously, as they're running, they're breathing out CO2. So if you're not running, sit on your seat, or you're injured because you had a hip surgery or anything like that, breathe out, pretend you're running. Just get rid of the CO2s and you'll see that how you will lose fat just by your breath work.
Right. And on top of that, nasal breathing, we've already talked about this in previous lives, can transform your actual facial structures. So.
Yes, we know. We know that children that they breathe through their nose versus mouth breathers, their facial structures are very different. And I have books. I wish I had time to show everybody all of it, but I'm going to show you just one photo. I'm going to Natalie do it. The top photo here is a nasal breather, and the bottom one is a mouth breather. And this is what happens when we breathe through our mouth. We're getting in all the allergen. We're pushing the lower jaw back, and we're making our faces long and our eyes droop. So here it is, a nasal breather. Nice, round, beautiful growth and development, nice jawline. And this is a mouth breather. Allergies, lower jaw is retruded, is pushed back, facial structure is long, eyes are drooping. These are all causes of mouth breathing. So we know mouth breathing is not good. Nasal breathing improves our immune system. So we can talk about that another session. But when you do these exercises, we teach you how to get that breath work aligned with what you're comfortable and get you to be healthier.
Exactly. So I think that's a great way to end our live for today. I hope you guys learned something today, took something important from this live. Thank you so much, Dr. Maryam.
Thank you, Natalie, for coming late. And thank you for coming anyways.
As always, you can find us on Amazon under BLAfit. You can also find us on our social medias, which are all BLAfit. Those are our handles for our YouTube channel, our Instagram, and our Facebook. So if you have any questions, feel free to message us or send us an email directly at order@blafit.com.
And join us next week.
And join us next week for our next live. So bye, everyone.
Bye,
have a great
week.
Love. Ending live.